Hi, clowns. Welcome to Crimenelia Street. I'm Sam.
And I'm Tori.
And we are gathered here today.
We're both looking a little goofy today, I will say,
Yep.
in the most fun way.
Right. In spirit of spooky season and all things clowns and pickles.
All things clowns and pickles. Sam today is dressed as a pickle. And then her name is The Real Dill.
But
I love that. No, that's so clever. And I can't wait to hear what other puns you come up with as the episode goes on.
For sure. Gotta make sure they're kosher first.
Oh, wow. Here we go. Here we go. Who's keeping count? We got 2 already. I'm going to have a little tally going here. I will be chasing my clown nose down all night long because anytime I smile in the slightest, the thing goes flying off. So it's going to be a fun night.
And Tori's name is Betty the Clown, which is perfect because we are all very much clowning. We've got the live stream of the Eras Tour, both of us like set up next to us so we can keep track. Yes.
And I'd like to, we got a blue dress for Fearless, which is totally out of left field. A blue
for
dress?
Sure.
What do we think about that? I mean, is it debut?
I don't know.
It's weird because the blue isn't that far off of the blue for Speak Now. Like, I would think if it is debut, it would be more of like a teal blue, but it was kind of like a silvery blue.
Yeah, I didn't get a good look at it. It just seemed like kind of like iridescent from like silver or blue with like silver kind of details. But
yeah,
I haven't seen like a good picture, but it just looked really pretty, like the few glimpses that I saw of it. So, but I feel like that means we're going to get more new outfits tonight for sure.
Yes, and
because it is the first night back in Miami after all.
And I've got my clown nose glued to the screen, so we will keep you guys posted as this goes. We're very excited. If we are clowning tonight, what are we clowning for?
So I don't know.
I'm kind of confused as to what I'm clowning for at this point.
Absolutely. I think it's just like a general clown feeling.
Yeah. I would think if it's going to be tonight, because I still stand by December 13th is going to be debut or Karma or TS12, which hopefully is Karma.
Right.
But maybe it's the announcement for that now.
That would be great. I will take an announcement. Like, I feel... Yeah, something big has to happen on the last show. Wait, is that the 13th? I know that's her birthday, or is it the 8th?
Oh, I don't know.
Well, something's going to happen that day, because it's Friday the 13th.
Yeah.
But also something has to happen on the last show, or maybe it won't. Maybe it'll just be the end of the Eras Tour. Well, I don't know.
I think we're going to get some kind of, like, announcement before December 13th, which... maybe tonight.
Could be.
And then, yeah, there's probably going to be something smaller at the end of the Eras Tour, I feel like maybe a music video or, you know, like some, like, cool new memorable merch or something like that.
And it looks like we got it's like the swirls dress.
Yep,
you know.
for Speak Now. So, yeah, how's your week been?
It's been really good. My daughter's birthday party is tomorrow, and I think a few weeks ago I mentioned I'd be making, like, a cake.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not
a cookie
doing
cake.
That.
Good for you. Good for you.
I did a trial cake to see how, because I wanted to make the cake in the shape of a 3. I'm just laughing at your nose.
Oh, wow.
And it was a fail in the sense that it totally didn't work out at all, but it was a win
a fail
in the sense that
of all of senses. Every sense.
But it's like then we just had a bunch of like cookie cake to eat. So that was great. But
How were you
I was
trying
like,
to shape it?
So I was trying to like bake it all on one sheet. Like I got like a tube of cookie dough, and then I was gonna carve the 3. I was gonna do 2 layers, like 2 separate sheets, and then I was gonna carve the shape of a 3 in like sections and just kind of put it together. But it was like, it would have actually like required a lot of cookie dough. And that stuff's expensive, and I'm not going to make it myself. I'm sorry. I'm not. I'm
fair.
not skilled in baking like that. But I was like looking forward to like at least decorating it, you know, but then you know what? No. So I actually called up Walmart, and Walmart has some cute cakes. It's like a mermaid themed cake.
Oh, that's so cute.
Yeah, it will be fun.
Is mermaid the theme of the party?
Yes. Yep.
Okay.
It's like a mermaid theme because we're having it at this. It's like an indoor kind of water park pool place.
Whoa.
In Medford that they just opened, and we've been a couple times, and they have like this really cute little like play area for kids that's like shallow, and there's like little water slides, and you can rent these party rooms. So we rented a room and gonna have a few people there and eat pizza and all that good stuff.
Yay. Heck yeah. My week has been a blur. It's just been so like, it's one of those weeks where you feel like you're getting pulled into like 18 different directions and you just can't do any of the 18 things right. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean?
Well, you guys have, you know, in your neck of the woods, you just went through Hurricane Milton.
We did have that.
That was the one that came right over you guys. So that probably affected your work a lot, right?
It did, yeah. I pretty much had the whole, like, not intentionally, but had the whole week off. I did work a little bit in between, like, all the prep and stuff. But, yeah, it was mostly, I was prepping from, like, Sunday to Wednesday. And then it came Wednesday night. And then the next day, I was, like, you know, assessing damage and trying to figure out what was going on at my other house that I didn't stay at. And yeah, pretty much the whole work week was shot. So like getting back in the swing of things was so weird. And then like the week before that we had Helene too, which like rocked us as well. So it was just like 2 weeks of like your whole routine being blown out of the water.
Oh and my gosh.
Trying to get back into it. And then you're like behind on everything because you're, you know, trying to catch up on everything. So yeah.
Well, hopefully no more hurricanes for you guys.
Yeah,
that
we've at least had some nice weather, which is going away tomorrow.
Oh, dang it.
But we did have it for a little bit, so that's been nice. I think it's still going to be like somewhat cooler tomorrow too. It's just going to be like hotter than it has been the last couple days. So
yeah, right. Sweaters in the morning.
Yep.
There we go.
Which we appreciate, yeah.
Yep.
Oh, Reputation's coming on.
I know, I'm seeing the snakes.
I feel like we just gotta wait till we see it.
Right.
It's no way it's tonight.
I put new for the outfit, but is it all stinky?
Yes.
It's all
all stinky. It definitely is, yeah.
Yeah.
All right, well.
Which is fine. This is fine.
Yeah, it's night one. Definitely a little stinky. Okay, so this week we are.
Wait, are the snakes different
on her outfit? Oh,
are they like gold snakes?
Oh my god!
Oh my god! It's not old stinky!
Oh my god! It is. Oh my god! It's finally.
Wow. It's not old stinky, y'all.
Oh my god. So Reputation's next then.
I mean.
And she's going to have more than one outfit because we still see that scene when she has the 2 legs.
Yeah, with the boots.
Yeah.
Which is definitely giving like debutation.
Oh my god. I can't believe it. So we have another new outfit coming to. Do we get the announcement tonight?
Dude.
Do we get it? No explanation. Oh my god.
Wow.
Can we even record? The show said, be ready. She's FaceTiming if it drops. So we might have a guest star.
Right. Cool. Down for that.
I can't believe it. How many years?
Right,
it's been a year and a half, right? Of Old Stinky.
We've had Old Stinky for a long time.
Okay, well, tonight.
We deserve it, honestly.
We deserve it so much. Like, we've put in the work. Look at me. Look at me right now.
For crying out loud.
Look at me.
That is so funny. Oh dear.
It's just like so hard to look away.
Right.
Okay, so tonight, for our sad things that we're talking about after such a monumentous event that we just experienced.
Right.
We are talking about the strange circumstances around Brittany Murphy's death. Brittany was born to Sharon and Angelo, and Angelo is Brittany's dad, and then Sharon is Brittany's mom. When Brittany was 1 year old, her dad, Angelo, went to prison for working in organized crime, which is interesting. He, I guess, like, didn't rat on anyone, so he just, like, went in and, like, served his time, and, like, he's very open about the fact now that, like, he was involved in organized crime, but I guess isn't anymore. But, yeah, so her dad went away for a 12-year sentence. So it was pretty much just her and her mom for her first 12 years. I think she still maintained some kind of relationship with her dad, but obviously he wasn't very present considering. And then when she was 2 years old, Angelo and Sharon got a divorce, and Brittany started singing and dancing and acting when she was about 4 years old. She was going to this school for theater pretty much, and right before high school, Brittany and her mom moved to Hollywood so that she could work on her acting career. Also, sometime around this time when Brittany was a teenager, according to Sharon, her mother, she was diagnosed with a heart murmur. Brittany starred in a couple big, like, major films. To note was Clueless, 8 Mile, great movie. You've seen 8 Mile, right?
Yeah.
I love it. It was so good.
And Girl Interrupted was another one of my favorites.
I haven't seen that.
It's
I
so
want to watch
good.
it.
It has Winona Ryder and Angelina Jolie in it.
Okay.
And I watched it when I was, like, in my early, like, 13, 14. And it's very, like, I don't know. It's a really good movie. It's really dark, though. And Brittany's character in it is really, like, yeah.
Okay.
It's a good one, though.
Okay. Yeah, I do want to see that. Clueless is, I guess, that's the film that, like, her first major role. And she was Ty, I forget the last name, but she played Ty in that movie. And she was, like, pretty much just famous from that role. At that time, I guess she had, like, a little bit more, not that she was in any way, like, overweight or anything like that, but I guess she did have, like, just a little bit more weight on her at the time that she played the role of Ty in Clueless. And then after that, she decided that she wanted to get deeper into a Hollywood career and such, so she wanted to kind of fit the role as, like, the thin blonde that you see be super successful in Hollywood. So she got in shape and lost a little bit of weight.
So she gave this interview right around the time after she, like, lost the weight and kind of dyed her hair blonde. And she said that she was told that she was huggable but not fuckable. And that, like, really, I know, it really messed with her, because if you think about it, in the early 2000s, the culture of being, like, super thin was very much a thing.
Yep.
And the expectation for all of the actresses to be just thin as a rail. And I remember seeing pictures of, like, for instance, like Jessica Simpson, and they're like, you know, she's gaining all this weight. And you look at those pictures now as an adult and you're like, dude, she looks normal. Like, and just like Brittany looked completely normal. She did not need to go through all of that. So it's just a little sad that she heard that. So.
For sure. So that was, they were saying that she was huggable, not fuckable before she lost the weight? Or right after? Yeah. Okay.
It was like, yeah, when in her Clueless kind of days, like when she started getting big in that role, or after that role, that's when she was told that. Like, what an awful...
And, like, how old, too, was she when people are telling her how fuckable or huggable she is? Was she still in high school?
Yeah, because I was reading how when she was filming Clueless, she was still technically in high school, but she didn't go to traditional school. Like, she just had tutors on set and such.
Yeah. Wow. That's disgusting. Hate that. Some other acting accomplishments she was known for. She was Luann in King of the Hill, which is so funny. Like, I knew that and I had just totally forgotten until I was doing this research. And then she also was in Just Married with Ashton Kutcher, which was a pretty popular movie. And there's a couple more too that were pretty popular that she was in. Do you know any of them off the top of your head?
She was in Uptown Girls, which I've never seen, but I see a lot of kind of memes from that movie. Oh, she also did, well, this was later on, I think 2006, where she voiced a penguin in Happy Feet. And there's actually I think there's something that we can talk about later on with that.
Oh, okay. So I guess she sometimes when she was on set, she would end up having these like relationships with the stars that she was working with, which like for a teenager is a totally normal thing. Like I think I had a boyfriend at every job I had, when I was that age. Yeah, so she had dated some of her co-stars. One of the co-stars in particular was Ashton Kutcher, and they dated a little bit after they had starred together in Just Married. And this is a little bit interesting now in hindsight, because this was actually the time too that Ashton Kutcher was hanging out with P. Diddy a lot. So yeah, that's just, I know everything that P. Diddy did now is under high scrutiny, so that's just like an interesting little tidbit
for sure. And also I was reading another thing about Ashton Kutcher, that he had a girlfriend that like was murdered at some point. Like he went to go pick her up and he apparently found her.
Yeah, he was the one who found her. It's so weird. Yeah. So when she did end up losing weight around that time, a lot of rumors popped up that kind of followed her through the rest of her career, of like her having anorexia. None of this was ever proven at all. It's just kind of like what people were saying. Brittany, with her acting more, she was making money, and she actually ended up like starting to support her family. So another guy that she ends up meeting in the industry is Simon Monjack, who is known to be sketch, for sure.
The more I find out about Simon, the more I'm like, this guy is just issues above and beyond normal issues.
I know that he had an ex-wife, and he totally lied to her, said that he was like the heir of money. And then she like kept having to lend him money, and he was like never able to pay her back. And then he also told her that he had some like crazy art collection that was like worth a bunch of money, and like all of that was like an absolute lie.
Yeah, he was saying that he was collecting Vermeer, which my favorite painting in the world is the girl with the pearl earring, and that suits me. So I was like, oh,
that's cool.
He said that he owns 17 Ferraris. He was, in fact, a billionaire, that according to him. He would also tell people that he had terminal, like, brain or spinal cancer, that he would go to Monaco to get treatment for it, and it was this rare treatment using shark cartilage. And he would do this thing where he would get with a really rich woman and scam her out of money, and use that money to find a new woman and buy her all these expensive gifts so she would think that he's rich. So then he would latch onto her, and this went on and on and on, and that's how he pretty much got his way. And he also, he did have 2 children.
Oh, he did?
He had 2
across that
he pretty much ignored. And this one lady said that she met him when she was in France. She was American, but she was living in France, and she just like fell completely in love with him. And he like proposed to her in the middle of Harrods, the like fancy department store, with like, a Tiffany ring. And then she soon got pregnant, and it was weird because she was really sick when she was pregnant, and she really wanted to go to the doctor, but he was like, no, don't worry about it, I'll take care of you, don't go to the doctor. Like, he was trying to make it so she was completely like reliant on her.
Ew.
And then she was like, I really want my friends and family from the States to come visit, to come see me, I'm like losing it over here. And he was like, no, I don't want anyone to like come over here yet, because I'm also dealing with cancer and all this stuff. And it's like so strange. And then eventually he said, I want our son to be born on U.S. soil. So he bought her a plane ticket to New York City, And that's like literally the last she ever heard of him. He like just stopped contact.
Dude, what? Oh my God.
Yeah.
Ew.
Crazy. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he seems so weird with control. And like, to what end? Like, to what it's just like for the sake of the game almost.
Right. Apparently his dad had died of spinal cancer when he was like 29 or something. So his mom was saying, oh, I'm sure he wasn't telling people he had brain or spinal cancer. He was just paranoid about it. And it's like, no, girl. He was telling people he was terminally ill.
And getting treatment from shark
and getting
cartilage.
some crazy... Exactly. Like, anyway. I digress.
Yeah, hate that guy.
The worst.
So she meets him. He was known to be sketch. They ended up getting married, which this totally fits like the narrative you were just saying. They end up getting married less than a year after knowing each other, which is just so fast for someone who has so many assets like Brittany. I feel like I would be so scared to get married in that situation, like having so many assets.
Yeah, for sure.
And he's not like, and looks aren't everything, but this guy is not cute.
No, he just looked just so much older. I think he was only like, well, not only, but he was just 10 years older.
He must be such a smooth talker.
Right. And I guess just with all the game that he's talking like, oh, I'm a billionaire. And I believe they kind of got together during a point where her career did start to kind of slow down a little bit. So maybe she was like...
And it was something about like him writing like a novel, and like she had a screenplay that she wanted to turn into a novel or something like that too. So I think that's kind of how they met. So she did, I don't know, probably think that he could like help her in that sense initially too.
For sure.
Yeah, just such a strange like couple, because she's just like so beautiful and has it all, and then this guy was like known to be a con man at the time. Like everyone would say, oh, that con man. So yeah, he must have just been able to like talk his way in.
And it seemed like he kind of won over her mother as well, because her and her mother were so close. Like they did everything together, they lived together, all of that.
Yeah, they said that like the mom and her were like almost more like a friend relationship than like a mother-daughter. So they were definitely very close. Another rumor that was like spreading a lot too, and I think this was kind of tied into the weight loss, was that she was doing drugs. And again, tying back to like the heart murmur that she was diagnosed with, her mom, Sharon, at least said that she never did drugs because of the heart murmur, which like I feel like most people, if they think they have a heart murmur, they probably wouldn't do drugs too. And we find out later too that she at least didn't have any illegal drugs in her system. So you mentioned that Simon and her met when her career started going kind of downhill. She was working on movies at this point that were more like they would go straight to DVD or just like not major films. And it seemed like she was becoming kind of spacey on set a lot of the time. She was having trouble remembering her lines. And there's a couple of different things that could attribute to this. One was that Simon was so controlling, and he would like keep her up at night trying to like force her to remember her lines and stuff so that she would be able to get better movies and stuff like that. But it was actually probably hindering her and making her so spacey on set. And then also her and Simon did like do a lot of not illegal drugs but prescription medications, but that could have definitely like altered her being able to remember her lines as well. So it seemed like even the movies she was a part of these days that weren't major films, she was not doing she felt like she wasn't doing a good job at her job. And Simon was also being such a control freak even when she was working on set, that like some of the producers were having to come up with like ideas of how to like get him off the set, and sometimes that would upset Brittany as well. So she lost a couple gigs just like because they would try to kick Simon off, and then she would be upset about that and end up quitting. So it seemed like all the jobs she was getting at this point, she just wasn't able to execute the work like she was able to when she was younger.
I did read that Simon convinced her to fire her whole management team as well.
Really?
And he was her sole management team. Like, it was just him.
Christ.
And, like, whenever someone would try to get in contact with her, it would be Simon answering the phone.
Yes,
and all that.
I did see that.
That also probably did not help her get any better roles. She was just getting all these, like, you know, low budget films. I think
there it is.
Would be a good, yeah.
Low budget films.
That's what we were looking for.
There it is. No, that makes sense. I didn't realize. I knew that. That he was like answering her cell phone. He even cut the landline so that she couldn't answer it at her house that she bought with her money.
Oh my gosh.
That's another
so
level of crazy.
And it's like, I remember Brittany Murphy as being just more very bubbly, like a light. She just seemed like she was just this little fairy going around and everything. And just to read about all the stuff that he was doing to control and manipulate her.
Yeah.
And, like, unfortunately, her mother didn't do anything about it as well for some reason. Gosh, it's just so sad.
It's sad and it's strange, too. That, like...
Yeah, very strange.
I feel she's a national treasure. Like, how was she not being protected more, you know? Like, and it's because of the people who are close to her, but... Yeah, it's wild to see. And it's also, I think, kind of strange, like, from our perspectives, people who, like, are middle class, you know, you think people who are so high class or, but, like, the upper echelon, you would think that they can't get into those kinds of scenarios, you know?
Right.
Yeah, it's just crazy to see. So her coworkers on set started noticing that Brittany had trouble remembering her lines and she seemed to be spacey a lot. There were rumors that this may be due to drug use, and then also like Simon's controlling behavior and keeping her up all night to remember her lines. Brittany had a role in Puerto Rico for a film called The Caller, and that was the film that they tried to kick Simon off set, and then Brittany got upset, so they ended up leaving Puerto Rico and coming back home. Back at their house, Brittany and Simon were both just like super paranoid, and I do wonder if a lot of this comes from Simon and it just kind of like spread to Brittany and Sharon, because even like you said, when his wife was pregnant, he like didn't want her to go to the doctor, and that seems so paranoid, right? Like,
right.
Why not?
Like, someone is sick and can barely get out of bed, and you're like, I can fix it.
It's so strange. Especially from someone who has so many prescription medications too. Like, are you not going to the doctor to get those?
Right. It's just, I just think it was more of a form of control over, more so than anything, and keeping her drugged up like that made her easier to, and sleep deprived on top of it.
Yeah.
Like, just because it was like Klonopin, Ativan, hydrocodone, like, these were all things that she was taking at this point, like, daily.
That is so, like, mind-altering, too, all of those.
Right.
Just one of those.
And she's, like, 115 pounds.
Yeah. So when they did come back from Puerto Rico, Brittany wasn't feeling very good, and she got some over-the-counter drugs, and she pretty much decided to try to fight whatever she had gotten with over-the-counter drugs and medications between her and Simon. So she was taking not only her own prescriptions, but also some of Simon's, which included an inhaler, which is like one of the weirder medications to share with someone, I feel it. Like, I just
also
always...
not kosher.
Not kosher.
I'm trying to think of other ones, but... That's all I got.
I've got to say right on the nose at some point. So she, at one point, when they had come back, she wasn't feeling well for a couple days, and she had gone out on the balcony and was trying to cough and then just passed out. And
oh my God.
Her mom, Sharon, and Simon, they picked her up and just put her to bed. They didn't call 911 or anything. They're like, we'll just give her some more medications, more of this over-the-counter stuff, and and we'll get through it.
Wow.
The house that they lived in was pretty interesting. It was Britney Spears' house before Brittany Murphy owned it. And Britney Spears had bought it and went into the house, and she just insisted that it had this like bad aura about it. They like saged the place. I think she had some like spiritual experts come in and try to like rid it of the bad aura, and she went back and there was like, I don't like it. So she wanted to sell it, and then Brittany Murphy ended up being the one who bought the house. So from Brittany to Brittany.
I also believe that Britney Spears left all of her furniture, that she was like, I don't want anything.
Really?
Yeah, she was that uncomfortable in the house. And she's like, I just want to leave it all. Just like so wild. But it is interesting.
Yeah, definitely an interesting little note. So Brittany Murphy bought the house, lived there with her mother and Simon. It was 8,000 square foot, so big enough for the 3 people. I'd say, like, you know, some people might say it's kind of weird to like live in the house with your husband and then also your mom, but the place is big enough, I think, for the 3 of them. So I'm sure like her mom had her own side to the house. Brittany had a ton of beauty products in her bathroom. They were kind of hoarders, and the house was super messy. The windows couldn't open because of mold, and some of the windows were taped shut to not let fresh air in. And no one's really sure why this was, besides like, again, going back to like the paranoia thing. I also think some of the paranoia stuff too might come from like the prescription medications that they're using as well, because that's just so strange. Like, is that even I guess it could still be a control thing, but it's just such a strange measure to take, you know?
For sure. Yeah. Doesn't.
So
something, and it's like he's definitely using these things as well. Like, I feel from what.
Oh, the prescriptions?
Yeah.
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 Like, a lot of the times when when people didn't want him on the sets and stuff, like, they were reporting that he was, like, belligerent pretty much and, like, just not making sense. So it definitely seems like he is using some kind of drugs for sure. And he obviously has access to those, so I would think that... And some of them are in his name. So we'll get into Brittany's death. December 20th, 2009, Brittany, it was about 7:30 in the morning, I believe. Brittany went into the bathroom to vomit. Her mom went in there to comfort her, and Brittany passed out in her mom's arms. Sharon yelled for Simon, and Simon came in, and they tried to put Brittany in the shower to get her to wake up. Once Brittany wouldn't wake up, Sharon called 911. And on the 911 call, she's telling the operators that Brittany seems to be turning blue and she's getting cold. The 911 operators have Simon perform CPR on Brittany. When first responders do arrive at the house, Brittany did have very weak vitals. But they did detect a pulse, so CPRs also attempted CPR and then rushed Brittany to a hospital. Everyone at the hospital did everything that they could for Brittany, but unfortunately it was to no avail, and Brittany was declared dead at 10:35 a.m. So it was only 3 hours that passed from the time that she woke up vomiting and passed out to the time that she was at the hospital and declared dead.
Oh my gosh.
I know.
That's crazy. So sad.
So sad.
And all avoidable.
That's my next point on here, is it's just so upsetting, because if they had called for help sooner and they didn't, her death could have 100% been prevented. Like, doctors are like, if she, I mean, even hours before, she would have had a chance. A day before, she would have had a decent chance. Like, they could have pumped her full of antibiotics and probably saved her.
Right. One of the people who, I know there was some controversy over her autopsy, but they said that when they were taking her like blood at the hospital, her hemoglobin was at a 3, and it's supposed to be like, I think 11 to 13 is a normal range. And so if she had gone even just for a check or whatever, like if they had just checked that, or because you would have to be anemic for a long time for that to happen, for it to get that low. And she would have gotten like a blood transfusion like immediately because obviously
it's so
frustrating.
sad. And like she was so sick. So from Puerto Rico up to this time, like she had passed out on the balcony. She was vomiting all the time. Like she was having trouble breathing. She was so clearly sick. And they just kept trying to treat it at home and didn't want to go to the doctor. And some of the reasons I guess they didn't want to go to the doctor was because paparazzi, or that people may have thought Brittany wasn't well, so like she can't take on acting roles. It's crazy. And like you're gonna get paparazzi still if something happens, like
right. Like, or what's the alternative that you want here? Like, it's just so crazy how both her mother and him thought that this was okay.
Two people. Yeah, more than one person. Her mother.
Right. Like, there's something not right with her mother either. I'm sorry. Like,
oh, for sure. That interview with Larry King, like,
dude,
I feel like they're all drugged up. Like, I feel like that might be some of the reason that they're just like making really weird fucking decisions. I guess that like is the only thing that's somewhat logical that I can like put to it, you know, because otherwise it's like, why would a mom not help her child?
Right. The only explanation. I kind of wonder because apparently Sharon, like she had wanted to be she wanted to perform and act, like she very much liked that idea, and maybe it didn't work out for her, so the next like thing when she had Brittany was, oh, like I can live through you. And so I feel like her mom, like putting her in, since they were so close the entire time, it seems like her mom was encouraging her to like lose the weight. And because even in those interviews, like in the Larry King interview, she's like, you know, she was always just so petite and blah, 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 blah. It's like, why are you like so obsessed with her being And Simon was the same way too. He would always encourage her to stay thin, and he wanted her to get more plastic surgery, and he liked to dress her. Sorry. They would do all these photo shoots in their home where he would dress her up like a doll, he said. Ew. And it's like so gross that and it's like her mom was more, she got swept up in like chasing the fame of it all.
It's so objectifying. Like that's your daughter. She's a person and your daughter. Like they're both so off their rockers, I feel like. The Larry King interview was disturbing to see, and I only got to see a clip of it. I couldn't find, I know you sent the transcript, but I was looking for like a video, you know, like the whole, I even was trying to find like what show that is, if I can stream it. So yeah, it's just super upsetting that all of this could have been prevented if more rational and like obvious decisions were made sooner. One of the next stages of the investigation would be to perform an autopsy. And it was just so strange that both Sharon and Simon were very opposed to an autopsy. Luckily, they didn't have the final word. But they were both... And during the Larry King interview, Simon even says on natural television, well, how can I tell her mom that they're going to cut her daughter up, especially when she's like curvy in all the right places? It's like, it's so strange.
What? Yeah. And her mom's just sitting there like, yeah.
And like, she is I mean, you're talking about her corpse at this point too.
Right.
Like and why wouldn't you want to know? It's so strange. It's all so strange. They did seem drugged up during that interview too, though.
Yeah.
They seemed really loopy.
Right, for sure. In all, like, I've seen a few other interviews that they did around that time, and it's the same thing. They're kind of rambling on. Her mom just seems like she doesn't know where she is or really what's going on. And Simon is just, he's a little out there as well, but he's definitely like in control.
Gross.
But that line about her being curvy in all the right places, I'm like, dude, stop.
She is deceased. Like, it's I can't. It's not what you say about someone who's passed away. Now we're getting into the investigation portion after Brittany's death. There were many medication bottles found in the home, and they were actually in like the nightstand next to Simon and Brittany's bed. They were in both Brittany and Simon's name. Simon continuously says that Brittany was only on herbal medications, but we soon find out from the autopsy that that's simply a lie. I mean, as we know him to be a liar, but it's just weird that he's so insistent about she's only on herbal medications when, like, you know they're gonna do an autopsy.
Right. It's like he's that level of like pathological liar where he believes his own lies.
Yeah, it's delusional.
I think it was the Larry King episode where Larry King's kind of asking him like, well, how did she get all these medications? He's like, oh, well, no, the medications were for me because I have epilepsy. And he's like, oh. And then he's like, well, Brittany had a seizure once, so she would sometimes take mine. Like he just like started going off on it as well, and then he would be like, but she was never on any medication. It's like, dude, you just said that she was. Like,
totally out of it, man.
Right.
And again, these are the strangest medications to be sharing with people. Like, it's not ever a good thing to share medications, but I just haven't, like, I've heard of people sharing like controlled substance medications, you know. I've never heard of someone sharing their inhaler medication or their seizure medication.
Yeah.
It's so strange. When investigators were in the home, they could tell that Simon's bed had recently been disturbed by two people. And when Simon was questioned about this, he said that Sharon would climb into bed with him and they'd console each other while crying. Now, Sharon denies this. But it does seem like it possibly happened because later on investigators do come back into the home for a different reason, and in the same nightstand where it was once Brittany and Simon's medications, it's now Sharon and Simon's medications.
Oh my God.
Next to the bed. Now, I don't know if it was ever anything like romantic or anything like that, you know. There's nothing saying that it was or pointing to that, but it just seems like a strange move.
And he's calling her baby and sweetheart and stuff.
Oh, he was?
Yeah. A couple times in the Larry King interview and clips that I saw where she gets confused. He's like, "Oh no, baby, you're getting your timelines mixed up," you know.
Oh, that's weird.
Yeah, super strange. And then they like did like a pap walk where they're like consoling each other. Like they, like the pictures that are taken, it doesn't seem like a mother and her son-in-law comforting each other. It seems like something else is going on.
I don't know. Maybe something was going on. It's real strange, man. So, did you hear anything about like the foundation that Simon had started?
Yeah, it was called the Brittany Murphy Foundation, and it seemed like he was the mastermind, but her mom wanted to do it as well. And they talked a bit about this in a Larry King clip and also in a Good Morning America clip I saw as well. They were like, yeah, we're so excited to do this. It'll be like to raise awareness for like mental health. They were going to host a memorial for her and we're like charging people for it. And then I think they did end up refunding most of the donations, but they would like contact people asking for thousands of dollars. I believe her father, Angelo, kind of restarted it at one point, and then it ended up not going anywhere.
Yeah, so many like just strange, questionable things. So during her autopsy, it was determined that it was an accidental death, and the cause of death was pneumonia. And then there were two other like kind of sub causes of death, which was the low hemoglobin that you mentioned, which was like severely low, like far lower than just a regular case of anemia. And then she also just had a ton of medications in her system, some of which were Klonopin, over-the-counter nasal spray, migraine pills, cough medicine, antibiotics, Prozac, anti-inflammatory beta blockers, ibuprofen, hydrocodone, barbiturates, and benzodiazepine. That's a lot. That is quite the mixture.
For sure. Yeah.
There were no illegal drugs in her system, so that kind of backs up that she was telling the truth when she says she never did any illegal drugs, which I don't know if that, I mean, it definitely sounds like prescription drugs were still being abused. So
right, like, who cares if it's illegal or not? If you're abusing something, you're abusing it. Like, you're not gonna get good.
I'm almost more freaked out to like take someone else's prescription than I don't know, to smoke some pot, like than use a recreational drug, like.
And it is kind of also weird because I read that she was very like, she did a bunch of like anti-marijuana campaigns.
Oh, really?
Which it's like okay, but I don't know.
Yeah, it's strange when people are like that. I feel like where they're so like dug in that like illegal drugs are bad, which it seems like she was of that mindset. But then you're illegally using drugs. And then even the ones you are using legally, like, you're not supposed to use those with the other ones that you're taking illegally.
Right.
So, yeah, it's interesting how some of that is more socially acceptable and some isn't among certain like groups. I feel like, especially like affluent groups, like prescription medications and stuff.
Right.
So yeah, it's interesting how some of that is more socially acceptable and some isn't among certain like groups. I feel like, especially like affluent groups, like prescription medications and stuff.
Right.
So there were no illegal drugs in her system, and her autopsy also showed that she did not, it was a question of if she could have died of anorexia, and her autopsy shows that she did not die of anorexia. And I think that's just coming from all the rumors that had been surrounding her since the beginning of her career. What was interesting, there were also no signs of issues with Brittany's heart when they did the autopsy, which is interesting because her mom said that she was diagnosed, as a teenager with the heart murmur. So I don't know. I don't know if her mom is just telling people that post her death, or if she told Brittany that while Brittany was growing up, if maybe it really was there and then it went away. I don't know, but it's just like one more interesting tidbit.
Right. Something that she used to manipulate her even
potentially
further.
Yeah. Dying of pneumonia for someone of Brittany's lifestyle is like almost unheard of, with her being so affluent and her age. Yeah, a 32-year-old like affluent woman dying of pneumonia is just so unlikely. It's a very strange cause of death for someone of her lifestyle. Mold can sometimes cause some of the symptoms that Brittany was experiencing. However, no mold spores were found in her lungs. There's still a chance that mold could have contributed to her poor health and breathing problems, even though spores weren't actually found. What was actually found in her lungs was a bacteria called Staphylococcus aureus, which it's the staph infection that causes pimples, pretty much. It's usually like a skin condition. What it ended up being determined as the most probable cause of her death was that she got a viral infection that kind of damaged her lungs. With her lungs injured, the Staphylococcus got down into her lungs and was actually able to cause damage because the lungs were already injured. And then she was also taking a cough suppressant, which may have caused her to be unable to like cough the fluid out of her lungs as well. So it seems like this just like crazy mixture of it's a series of unfortunate events.
Right, right.
That all
And
could have
being
been
so
prevented
yes.
with a little bit of medical attention.
Right, right. And like when you're that anemic, your immune system, of course, isn't, doing anything for you. And I did see another note that the coroner said that when they did do this thing in autopsies where they'll take a piece of the lung, and usually even after a person is deceased, a lung will float in water, and hers just sank right to the bottom, like every single piece. So, like, it wasn't capable of holding, like, any air, dude. Like, she could not breathe.
She was drowning.
Yeah.
I just feel like the people around her failed her so deeply.
Yeah, for sure.
She was also using Simon's inhaler, and inhalers, like, open up your lungs. So that was just, like, allowing liquid to fill her lungs as well. And then her not being able to cough it out because of the cough suppressants. It was just, like, the worst kind of mixture you can have when she had the viral infection and then the staphylococcus. Due to the severe lung infection, she suffered blood poisoning because her lungs just weren't functioning the way that they should, which led to her death. The big question here is just why didn't Sharon and Simon take her symptoms more seriously sooner, and why didn't they call anyone sooner in the days leading up to this? And unfortunately, we don't get answers to that. It's just upsetting.
Yeah.
Okay, so life after Brittany's death, Simon and Sharon continue to live in the same house and to potentially sleep in the same bed together. Over the next few months, Simon's mom, Linda, realizes that Simon's health seems to be declining. Simon is British, and then his mom, Linda, is British as well, and she is not in the United States, so she can't like check in and come and see Simon often. But over Zoom calls, she can tell that his health is declining more and more, and she was growing very concerned for her son. She kept trying to schedule like a time to see him, and he was putting it off for a while, and then finally they had scheduled a time on April 28th to see each other. However, they never did get to see each other because the day before Simon was supposed to leave for his trip, he canceled. So the meeting was supposed to be in New York, and the day before Simon was supposed to leave, he called his mom and canceled because he wasn't feeling well. Linda then called Sharon, being concerned for her son. She was trying to convince Sharon to take Simon to the hospital, but Sharon refused, which seems to just be a continuing trend. Linda phoned Sharon the next morning at 4 a.m. checking on her son, and Sharon let Linda know that Simon had vomited up a black substance and that his eyes were rolling into the back of his head.
Sharon,
my girl,
call 911, please.
Vomiting up a black substance. Like, that sounds like something out of The Exorcist. What the fuck are you doing? You are not, this is above your pay grade, Sharon.
Right. And she's just bopping along, it seems. Not bopping along, but like...
You're not qualified for this, Sharon.
No.
Unless you are a priest. No, I'm kidding. But Jesus Christ, Sharon. So poor Linda, just being on a different continent from your child and then hearing he's vomiting up a black substance and this woman won't take him to the hospital.
Oh my gosh. That is infuriating, yeah. And his eyes are rolling in the back of his head. Like, I'm sorry.
He's not with it, Sharon.
Right. Oh my gosh.
Jesus Christ. And especially after what happened with Brittany.
Mm-hmm.
So 2 hours later, when Sharon finally calls the cops, she made the phone call at 9:15 p.m. on May 23rd, 2010. So this is about 5 months after Brittany passed. She was instructed by the 911 operators to give Simon CPR, and she attempted to give him CPR as he laid in bed. When the paramedics got there, Simon had no pulse or lung sound and was declared dead in the bedroom at 9:45 p.m. at 40 years old.
Damn. Wow.
So the investigation of Simon's death is now ensuing. Linda was able to get Simon's phone, and when she went through his phone, there was this kind of alarming recording on his phone. You can hear Simon saying in the recording that he's sick and needs to go to the hospital, and in the background you can hear Sharon saying that he's running a temperature of 104 and he should tell the doctor that. So it's not clear exactly what was happening, if maybe Simon thought he was calling and actually speaking to a doctor at this point, or maybe he was just like so out of it he thought he was speaking to a doctor, but he was actually taking a recording. The whole thing is just very strange. It does sound like Sharon is actually like trying to tell him to tell the doctor that he has that fever in the background. Like it does sound like she's trying to be helpful according to investigators, but it's just again also strange. And also, like, if you know anyone with a 104 fever, you have to their brain is melting at that point. That's probably why he thought he was on the phone and he's taking a recording. His brain is boiling. Like, you can't have 104 fever and not get medical attention.
Right. And also, it's like your wife just died from pneumonia. Pneumonia is like a contagious disease. So it's like something that took out your... Isn't it? Isn't it like a viral... And you're sharing like nose inhalers and stuff.
Oh, yeah.
You know, like...
Oh, some types of pneumonia are contagious.
Okay. Oh, yeah, I wasn't sure if it was like totally as contagious as like a cold or whatever, or COVID.
Right.
It's just like wild that you wouldn't, like, because also what I was reading was all three of them were kind of sick, and of course it just hit Brittany the worst, but
yeah.
If you just let that kind of thing go untreated, it's not going to heal itself on its own. Like, right.
So yeah, just what an eerie recording that was on his phone. And the phone was given to Ed Winter, who, by the way, is like the lead coroner in charge of this case and of Brittany's. He did tend to deal with a lot of the celebrity deaths at the time. He was also the coroner on Kim Porter's case. Kim Porter was P. Diddy's ex-wife. Just interesting that that's another kind of P. Diddy connection, is that it was the same coroner as P. Diddy's ex-wife, and then that coroner ended up dying in between Kim Porter's first and second autopsy, which is strange.
Right. And he was older, but he wasn't like super old. He was in that documentary I was watching on HBO Max, even though when did Kim Porter die?
She died November 15th, 2018. He died of complications of Parkinson's disease, it says, at 63 years old.
Oh, okay.
What was her cause of death? I'm just curious.
I do think it says pneumonia.
No, it doesn't.
Yeah, it says lobar pneumonia.
What the fuck?
Right. And Brittany, that's just like, yeah, Google for Kim Porter says lobar pneumonia, and then Brittany Murphy's just says pneumonia. So.
Oh,
it is
interesting.
just weird though. Like, why are all these people dying from pneumonia?
Who are affluent and like have very good access to healthcare.
Right.
Yeah, very interesting. And all kind of in some ways connected to P. Diddy.
He's just an evil person. Bad vibe.
Bad vibes.
And there was something with Simon, like, shared a personal trainer with P. Diddy. There's something with a personal trainer.
I saw that too, like a week ago or so. Yeah. So weird. There's a lot of just weird connections. And again, like, all of that could just be coincidence too. I don't know. But just like everything that P. Diddy has touched right now is like in question.
Yeah, for sure.
Simon did have a lot of health issues. He suffered from heart disease. He had epilepsy and seizures, and he also had liver disease. The coroner said the cause of death after Simon's autopsy was also accidental pneumonia. Now, which I already mentioned earlier, but when the investigators came into the house for the second investigation, they noticed that Sharon's medications were now in that drawer near the bed next to what was once Simon and Brittany's bed. Another thing investigators noticed that they did not notice the first time in the house was a significant amount of mold around the windows. And they said that it wasn't there the first time. That all grew in the 5 months between Brittany's death and Simon's death.
Wow.
Brittany's autopsy did show that she had multiple areas of inflammation in her lungs, which can be caused by mold, but again, she didn't have the actual mold spores in her lungs. Usually the most common cause for that inflammation in lungs is a fungal infection, and the most common cause of the fungal infection is a species of mold that can lead to death in humans. It's just interesting that those like mold spores weren't actually in her lungs. Like it can, even if the spores don't get in your lungs, it can still cause like some breathing issues. So it could have like made the issues she had worse, but it doesn't seem like it could have been the sole cause of death because the spores weren't in there. Brittany's father, Angelo, felt that Brittany was murdered, especially after Simon's death that was similar and in the same house. And he felt like this because Sharon seemed to be fine compared to the others. Although, like you mentioned earlier, I did hear that Sharon was sick a lot of the time as well. So maybe it just didn't affect her as bad. It is interesting because she was like a breast cancer survivor as well. So you'd think she'd be a little bit more susceptible. But
Right.
sometimes that stuff just does happen. You'll see someone who smokes their entire life and doesn't get cancer, and then someone who smokes for 10 years and gets cancer. So
yeah,
just strange. But yeah, so Angelo was suspicious of Sharon. He pretty much publicly said that he thinks Sharon poisoned both Brittany and Simon. He ended up having some of Brittany's hair tested for heavy metals, and the test did come back positive for 10 different types of heavy metals in Brittany's hair. It was thought that there was a little bit of back and forth with the LA coroner's office and Angelo's team. Cyril Wecht, we talked about him in Ellen Greenberg's case, but he's world renowned, and he came in saying that some parts of this case do seem suspicious, especially after the father got the hair tested and there were traces of heavy metals in the hair, and it seemed like it wasn't noted in the autopsy report. And then the LA coroner's office, so he made a public statement saying that like he has some questions about the case, and then the LA coroner's office replies to that saying that they did find heavy metals in her hair, but they attributed it to the hair products that Brittany used, like all the hairsprays and such, and like the color that she had in her hair. That's just interesting. I'm like, was it in the autopsy report or was it not? Because it is weird to like say later that, yeah, we did find heavy metals, so that's fine, but like I wasn't able to find the autopsy report, so I don't know if it actually was in there or not.
Right, yeah, it's weird because like in the documentary they have Ed Winters is in there, and then the lady who actually performed the autopsy, which I forgot her name, and then when this gets brought up later on, because it's sent to like another lab, like it's not done by the LA coroner's office, the guy doing it saying, yeah, the levels that it was found at is just consistent with someone doing like dyeing their hair, and then it goes back to the coroner and like the autopsy person, the actual autopsy person, and she's like, they just never really like address it. I guess it is kind of weird, but I don't know.
I think it is just her dyeing her hair. It seems like the most like logical explanation from someone who has no authority on this matter.
Right. I think it's like the guy said something about it being like how it wasn't like inside her hair, which would indicate that it would be in her blood. It was more so like on the outside.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
So maybe that's why if they did test her hair for the autopsy, they didn't report it, maybe because they didn't test it like that.
Okay, maybe, yeah. Part of Angelo's theory about why Shannon would have had motivation, I guess, to murder Brittany or to poison Brittany and Simon was that Brittany and Simon were planning to move away or move into their own place without Sharon. And Angelo's theory was that Shannon wouldn't know how to support herself. She would obviously get some of Brittany's assets if Brittany passed away, so that is what Angela is saying, like her motivation would have been. It is kind of interesting. The extreme anemia Brittany had at the time of her death could be a side effect of heavy metal poisoning, but it also can be a side effect of heavy, long menstrual cycles, which Brittany did reportedly have and suffer from. Like, she actually did have a prescription medication for her menstrual cycles as well, which I don't know many women who have that, so I would assume it'd have to be kind of severe.
Yeah, it's like, what? That exists?
Yeah, what is that?
Yeah, also, like, I know you mentioned that the cause of death wasn't from, like, anorexia, but the iron deficiency anemia, I feel, could definitely be a result of that. And people were saying, like, the months leading up to her, she looked like Bambi, like, just like she was so frail. She was, like, hurting herself all the time. She always seemed to be in pain, and, like,
yeah, she did have a lot of abdomen pain. Interesting. Another interesting, like every tidbit pretty much to this case, the LA Health Department offered to come in and check the home for mold, and Sharon did not want them to. Which, like, Sharon, she's still living there too. Like, 2 people have already died in there. Like, if there's nothing weird going on, why wouldn't you want them to come in and check for it?
Right. Especially your daughter, dude.
After Brittany passed away, Sharon did sell some of Brittany's clothing, which is very strange as well, including her underwear and lingerie.
What?
Yes. So, like, that's also kind of backs Angelo's theories about her being kind of desperate for money.
Right.
That's just so disgusting. Why would you sell your daughter's lingerie?
That is so strange. Also, what happened, she did something else.
Okay.
When Simon and Brittany were alive, Simon convinced Brittany to buy all this jewelry as investment pieces. He's like, don't worry, like, I'll take care of it. So he would, like, you know, come home with all these really nice, like, this really nice jewelry, like, clearly, like, looked so expensive. And he's like, this is just, like, a way of, like, securing, like, having more assets and keeping your money secure. And she believed him because he seemed like he knew what he was talking about. So after Simon died, Sharon goes to, it was the publicist that she actually got after her and Simon got together after Brittany died, because they were going through a lot of bad press. And she was like, can you help me sell this jewelry? He's like, yeah. So he took it to, like, 2 different jewelers, and they're like, my brother in Christ, this is all fake. It was all fake.
So what was he doing with all that money?
He was using it to send his other kids to private school, one. And just probably just, like, supporting his own lifestyle. And of course she thought he had taken the money that she gave him and bought the jewelry, whereas he was taking it but then acting like it's his own money. So, like, when he would buy her things, you know.
Yeah. Wow.
So it was just like, that just made me so mad. And, like, imagine how Sharon felt also after that, knowing that this guy just totally ruined everything. Like, took all her money. He blew through, like, $3 million, gone in the 3 years. Yeah.
Whoa. Wow. God, he sucks.
I know.
Not sorry.
So, there's that.
Yeah. I have some notes on Sharon's life after Simon's death. She initially, like, rejects the claims of mold. Obviously didn't even want the LA coroner's health department to come in and check it. However, when she went to sell the house in 2011, she decided, oh, I think it was mold. I think that's what killed them, and I think mold is in this house. And she sued the attorneys who represented her in a lawsuit against the builders in 2009, and she was suing them because she said that they didn't make it clear enough that she wouldn't be able to sue them again in the future by taking the settlement that they had offered her at the time, because she wanted to sue them now for the wrongful death of her daughter. And other issues they had too with the builders was the Brittany Murphy Corporation sued the builders back in 2006 for a bunch of different issues with the home, one of which was persistent leaky pipes, though, which obviously can lead to mold. So it's just kind of interesting that she flipped the script in 2011 when she wanted to get rid of the house, and there was a lawsuit behind it. Is Sharon still alive?
I think she is. I I read that she just resides somewhere in Southern California.
Okay. Yeah, that is the terribly strange and terribly awful case of Brittany Murphy. It's just so it's so sad, so avoidable. What do you think?
I just think that it is interesting hearing all the different theories surrounding her death, but I think at the end of the day, it is just a result of, I'm sorry, like Simon and her mother neglecting, like straight up neglecting her, him manipulating the both of them, but her mother also clearly just allowing it. Like, you're her mother, you're her mother.
Yes.
You should be protecting her because you clearly are, like, you come kind of as like a package deal, it seems like. And I just think that she just was not thinking clearly because of all the drugs that she was on. And I don't think her mother actually did poison her, because that was like unfortunately, because that was like the way she got money. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah.
But she was the sole beneficiary for Brittany Murphy's estate. So I think she still gets, like, Brittany had like a pension and stuff too. So I don't know. It's just awful.
Yeah, I think I agree with you. I think it was just like a series of unfortunate events that all could have been prevented. I think it was the staphylococcus and the viral infection that led to the pneumonia, and the mix of like all the drugs that she was on, the inhaler opening her lungs up and then not being able to cough it up from the cough suppressant. And I think it was really all of that, again, could have been helped and prevented if it wasn't for Simon's strange behavior, being so paranoid and or controlling or manipulative and not wanting to go to the doctor. So yeah, just super so sad. Yeah, preventable. But for happy stuff, we got Florida tonight.
Yeah.
So Taylor news.
Yeah, so any second now, she's doing I Can Do It with a Broken Heart. So we're about to get the surprise songs. And we'll know. We got a new rep outfit tonight.
We got a new rep out. Oh my God. I saw the one leg out and I'm like, ugh. Good on you for being diligent.
Right. She's nothing but consistent.
Diligent.
And there she goes. She smirked at us in that TikTok and the Instagram
Did you catch
post.
my joke? You were being diligent.
Oh, that was a good one. Yeah. Yeah.
No, she did though. She did smirk at us.
Yeah.
When she came back to the office. Which, like, I loved that post. It felt very, like, just old Taylor Instagram-y.
Right. Because, like, you know, she stopped.
Before she deleted everything because of reputation. So to recap, too, for tonight. So we got 3 new outfits. We got the blue Fearless one. We got the old stinky Reputation. Hopefully never crosses the stage again. I'm just kidding. I'm okay if it comes back. But I'm so excited to have a new one.
Yes.
So we got that with gold snakes. And the snakes are like in a different pattern too, it looks like.
Yeah, for sure. I really love that.
Yeah. That's probably the most exciting thing about the night. And then I'm pretty sure we got Florida with Florence, which is amazing.
Yep. Love that.
And then the last new outfit was the beautiful mermaid unicorn surprise song dress. It's like an ombre from kind of a dark pink to a teal blue.
Right. Yeah, it's almost like kind of tie-dye, but not really, all throughout, and very sparkly, and
so
it's like a
pretty.
high-low situation. And I wonder if there's going to be other color combinations. I imagine there's more than one new surprise song dress like she did with the Europe tour. She had several new colors, so it was like 3, I think. Yeah. Woohoo! Good night.
Yeah, what a good night. Excited that we got to see that like while we were recording too.
That's it for this episode of Crimenelia Street. You can follow us on Instagram at Crimenelia Street or on TikTok at Crimenelia ST Podcast. And feel free to send us an email at crimeneliast@gmail.com. Bye, clowns.
Bye. And I'm just saying bye as like in response because I am the clown.